All right. We're live.
All right.
Let's do this. All right. Dirty Sports 657 live on YouTube. Let's do it in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host via St. Louis, Missouri, Joey No Chill Prano.
Midwest podcast. The quality of life episode.
How is the quality of life in the STL?
Well, the quality of life is fine, but the quality of my video is really bothering me. If any dirtballs out there are tech nerds and can tell me why Andy's 2013 MacBook looks crystal clear and this 2020 MacBook looks garbage, I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, that is interesting. Now, it's been that way ever since you got the computer?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm now in St. Louis, which is obviously different Wi-Fi. I'm wondering if it's like a Wi-Fi quality, but I'm on Spectrum right now and at home, and you're on Spectrum when you're in LA. You usually have pretty good face quality then too. So I don't know what's going on. Probably a software issue. These computer companies letting their products slide while they rape us all of money.
But it was like that when you got it, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you need to go to Apple. Oh, wait, every Apple store is closed. Yeah. Actually, the one in St. Louis, because I had to look it up for locations that were open, a few select ones are open, and I believe the one at the Galleria in St. Louis is open.
Looks like we're going to the Galleria.
Yeah. Well, Prano, you survived without me for a week. You had Laz and then Goldberg.
Yeah. I know I let somebody down by not doing the Maddie. Yeah. Goldberg was on. We didn't go live, and I'm glad we didn't, because the first few minutes I was on with Maddie, he was talking just like this. The last 1 hour and 15 minutes, it was just this. It was just Maddie leaned into the computer. I don't know if he thinks that the audio comes out of the camera, but he had his ear pressed up against it. And I'm like, why am I looking at Matt? And you know what? There's so many things with Maddie. I didn't even bother to be like, you know what? I've been looking at your ear for an hour.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like, my mom's mad at me. Like, why is your mom mad at you?
I was wondering how he was going to do with the technical issues or setup, so to speak. And it sounds like he did it in full Goldberg fashion.
Yeah. I feel like I should have just had a poker game going and then been like, we're doing a Zoom call for poker and played heads up poker with him the whole time, because I know he can manage to do that very easily. But then when it comes to just doing a podcast and not having cards on a screen in the background, he's leaning into it like he's trying to listen to a seashell.
Well, hearing Maddie pronounce
Spolestra,
like, it gave me, obviously, I had a very stressful week last week, and it's still very stressful, but listening to that as I was actually driving to the hospital gave me so many laughs. Just because I could mentally picture you just
because we did the Spolestra. I was like, how many years has Eric Spoelstra been the coach of the Heat at this point? Like, not knowing Antetokounmpo is one thing, but not knowing Spoelstra, not knowing Giannis. I mean, he's sitting there going, Giannis still. And we had already done Spolestra. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let him keep saying Giannis. And I'm going to let I think the dirtballs have figured out that I certainly know it's Giannis. And Maddie's still in like year one of Giannis, where he's just like, the Greek freak. I don't want to say his name. What is it? Giannis?
Yeah. It was so funny. Very funny.
Yeah.
But I want to give some love to the dirt balls, all the kind words and all the prayers and thoughts. Quick update: my dad is still he's still in the ICU, so it's obviously very serious. He's been in the ICU since last Tuesday. He's been in the hospital since Sunday. So it's a fight. COVID's no joke, guys. So appreciate all the kind words, and obviously this has been a very stressful last 10 days for my family and year, as we all know. It's been hell. But got to stay positive, and I know that's cliche, but you have to. So
And right now, Walt's pretty stable, and you guys are optimistic.
Yeah, we are. Like I said, it's going to be a long fight. He's been stable for about a week now, but yeah, he needs to start believing in the mind body connection, which I know he hates, and he's such a cantankerous old man, but that is real. I know he's not going to watch this, but that is real, and hopefully he believes. It just sucks. I know people hear a lot of things, but I just want to say, when someone has COVID, I don't know if everybody's fully aware of this. You cannot see that person. So I have been unable, my family, friends, no one has been able to see my dad, which really sucks. So,
and I know a lot of people have probably heard that throughout the last couple months, but when you're living it, it's got to be pretty tough. You're worrying day and night about your dad, and you can't see him, and you can't, go in even like short visiting hours or whatever and get updates. And the other thing that I think, is important for you to share, because I still see a lot of our, dirt balls. I see a lot of people that maybe used to work on this show for a second, sharing certain things. I have a feeling that the young electrician's assistant that contact traced is the person who gave it to your dad is probably not in intensive care, and is probably doing okay. And meanwhile, they pass it on to your dad, and now your whole family is on the edge of their seat worrying sick about your father, and will he make it or will he not? And I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, if you're young, you're going to be fine. And if you're old, then fucking stay the fuck home. And your dad's old, and your dad stayed the fuck home.
Yeah. So exactly. So guys, I mean, I don't think I've been too preachy. I've said to wear a mask before, but I mean, this is why. It's exactly why. It's not about yourself, and it's not about even someone like Joe or me at our age. It's just about not giving it to somebody else if you don't know you have symptoms, and that's real. And obviously, I'm dealing with that, and it's really not a political issue for me. It never has been, and I've vented frustration for sure if you listen to past podcasts, but it was more for how it's been handled on some of from the politician angle. But yeah, it's real, guys. It's not about it's really not about yourself. It's about protecting people at risk, whether it's old people or people who have other health issues, which includes my sister-in-law. It's about people who, if they get COVID, it's very serious and life-threatening. So just remember that.
I think people just don't, you really got to think about it, but it's not that hard if you do think about it. Like the number of people that you come into contact with on any given day, even in these times when we're socially distancing and when we're not going out as much, when we're not doing as much, you still have contact with a lot of people, random people here and there, that you don't even realize. I'm pretty much like, even yesterday, I went golfing yesterday. That's outside. But at one point, I was within 10 feet of the starter on the golf course. He was an older guy. I still had my mask on until we got out on the course. Like that guy's seeing a bunch of people come by every day, and he's certainly old. Like it's just, you don't think about it too much. And I think it's really kind of shameful the way, obviously, it's become a political thing, and that it's sensationalized by the media. And, now there's dipshits who are like, it's not real. November it'll be gone. I have a feeling your dad isn't actively, campaigning against one of the presidential candidates. I have a feeling that's not what he's doing in the ICU.
Yeah, and the reality is, when he gets out, I mean, this as we all like, this is no joke. Like we're all hoping for the best, obviously, and we're remaining positive. But I mean, the road to recovery is
beyond him getting out of the hospital.
And wait, like way beyond. Like, the truth is, I'm going to be taking care of my dad for a while, and who knows for how long. And all because he was in contact with somebody who had it, who was much younger, and they didn't wear a mask. The whole thing is it's almost surreal, to be honest. And anyway, I just wanted to get that out there again. But big thanks to all the dirtballs. You guys have always been the best, and seriously, so much love when I've really needed it. And I really dig the positivity, and cannot thank you guys enough for all that. With all that being said, we are here to talk some sports, Joe.
Well, when we talk about people who are not well, and we were talking about Maddie's guy Giannis before, seems like that's an appropriate place to start. The Bucks down 3-1 with their only win coming with an injured Giannis sidelined.
Now, I'll just be frank. Obviously, last week I did not watch too many sports because I was dealing with everything with my family and my father. And I listened to, and I thought you, Maddie, did a great job, and you and Laz did a great job. What's your takeaway? I know we talked about the Pippen thing, and you talked about the Pippen thing. Like, what's your takeaway with the Bucks moving forward? Because let's just assume this series is done.
Well, look, I don't know if I said if I first conceptualized this on the show, or if I've just been talking to people about it after. I mean, I know we talked the whole Pippen thing. If I'm repeating myself, my apologies, but whatever. I've repeated myself a million times on this show. I think when you look at what Giannis is to the Bucks, I still believe that Giannis can be the best player on a championship team. And I said, I don't know, again, if I said it during the episode with Maddie or not, but his role, more than a Pippen, I think reminds me of what could be like a Tim Duncan.
Yeah, you said that. That was great. I like that. Tim
Duncan was, without a doubt, the best player on all the Spurs championship teams. Now, you could say, Kawhi won the finals MVP and Tony Parker won an finals MVP. But if you even look in those seasons, Tim Duncan was the most efficient, the most valuable player on those teams. Now, in those finals, Tony Parker and Kawhi came up big with big scoring games, which obviously tend to win you awards, and with big shots, which tend to win you awards. I think that Giannis could absolutely be that guy on a Bucks team. And honestly, I think that they have a lot of good pieces around him. And I don't think they're that far away from being a championship team. I really just think that right now, Spoelstra and the Heat have come in with a strategy to stop Giannis, and it's working. And, they're caught off guard. I don't think that necessarily means that this team is flawed in roster. I think maybe it's just you have to be ahead of the curve with how people are going to attack you and have a plan, or at least be able to adjust to a team attacking you. And they have not been able to do that.
And let's not forget, I know they've had the best record the last 2 years as a team. Giannis is still, 25?
Yeah.
I think we lose perspective when the greats were winning. I mean, there's been exceptions. There's been the Larry Birds, the Magic Johnsons, guys who've won titles really young.
With exceptional teams.
I was going to say, with stacked teams.
We're long removed from a top 1, 2 draft pick going to a team that's already competitive. Now, Giannis wasn't a top 1, 2 draft pick. He's obviously been in the league a while because he's, came from Europe and got to start younger, but he's still young.
And that's my point. Michael Jordan, LeBron, we see these guys, they weren't sniffing titles at 25. I just think we need to remember that and keep that into perspective when talking about him. And that's not to make excuses for him, but it's a reality. And it takes time to go deep in the playoffs. And obviously this year is unlike any other year because of the bubble and everything else going on. So
I also really just think it's a strategy problem that the Bucks have had the whole year. But like I said, they feast on bad teams in the East. They feast on, some of the bad teams, even from the West, that they face throughout the year. They are built in a way where he is so dominant and they do have so many role players around them that they really don't have to have a great strategy to win your typical Tuesday night against the Hawks basketball game and blow them out. All you have to do is look at Giannis' minutes for the year. The guy plays 30 minutes a game. He's not playing 40 like LeBron. He's not playing 40 like Harden. That means that they're running teams out of the gym on talent alone, which because they're a very talented team, but I don't think they have a very highbrow offense. And Spoelstra, who again, for the third episode in a row, I'm going to give props to. I've seen growth in Eric Spoelstra as a coach. I was like, what is he really in the past few years? But he's been exceptional in attacking them defensively. He's been exceptional in creating an offense around the guys that he does have. And I think if you swap coaches on this team, it's 3-1 Bucks.
Yeah. And during the regular season, I believe Miami was 3-0. So this isn't an anomaly, them dominating the series. They dominated them during the regular season. They knew this was going to be a matchup problem. And it's playing out exactly how it did during the regular season.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think, Spoelstra flies under the radar a lot. I just love saying that.
I know. Spoelstra may cause anal leakage.
But I think he is showing that he's a lot better coach than people have given him credit for, especially since, he had the big three in, about 10 years ago during that run. But yeah, it's one of those things though, where everyone's already chirping about Giannis leaving. Like he needs to leave. He needs to get out of here. He's,
I just think that would be, what are the Bucks going to do? You know what I mean? If you're the Bucks, how do you let him leave? This is your plan.
Well, I don't think you can.
Your plan is we've had the best record 2 regular seasons in a row and we haven't done well. So we let the guy who's winning the MVP go and we rebuild around what? Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez. It's like, I actually, again, think that their roster is pretty much there. I mean, yeah. I think if you have a guy and Middleton showed that he could step up with Giannis out, I think if you got a guy who is a pure, get a bucket guy, or if you find a way for the Chris Middleton types to become that guy with Giannis on the floor, the same way the Spurs made Kawhi that guy and made Tony Parker that guy while Tim Duncan was on the floor. People always assume as a Knicks fan that I have always been that, like, I must be a Jeff Van Gundy stan. And I've said it on the show. I like Jeff Van Gundy as a person. I love him as an announcer. I'm sure he'd be a great guy to hang out with. But as a coach, I thought he was not great as a Knicks coach because Bill Simmons has this Ewing theory with the Knicks. Oh, when Ewing's out, the Knicks are better. I actually don't believe that the Knicks would have been better with Ewing out, except for the fact that Van Gundy insisted when Ewing was out there to run the offense through Ewing. And at some point, especially in the modern NBA, going down to a big on the block when you need a bucket is putting yourself in a position to be doubled and stacked and boxed and whatever that you don't have to deal with on the perimeter. And that's why perimeter guys are dominating the NBA. Greg Popovich wasn't like, we need a bucket. I guess we got to give it to Timmy on the block and hope he hits a turnaround bank shot.
Yeah. Well, let's move to the other games in the Eastern Conference. Boston took a 3-2 lead last night after a pretty nice win against Toronto, after Toronto had come back with 2 straight wins. You see Boston closing this out, or you see this going 7?
I see this going 7. I said that last week when they were down 2-0. I said this series isn't over. I just feel like Toronto's got too much fight in them, and I feel like they've built a winning culture there. And I really don't think the talent discrepancy is that wide, and I don't think the coaching discrepancy is that wide. And you saw you're down 2-0, easy to roll over. So again, you think about 3-2 is as close as a series can be. You know, that's what they always, it doesn't matter who went up 2-1. If somebody was up 3-1, 3-2, 3-0, if you're down 3-0 in a series and you come back and get a 3-2, it's as close as a series can be. I see Toronto winning game 6. Now, by no means a guarantee. Boston could very easily come out and beat them by 11 again. But I just think that this is going to be a dogfight of a series. I see it going 7. And then, you know, in game 7, take it away, Kevin Garnett. Anything is possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Boston has so much talent, though, you know, as far as depth. Would you say Boston has the best depth along with the Clippers as far as the whole league's concerned?
Yeah, I would say along with the Clippers. And look, you look at the guys that have been stepping up for the Heat lately too, though. Like the Heat are pretty deep when you consider the way a lot of their role players have been playing. I mean, the end of that game, Hero making however many shots he made in a row down the stretch. Duncan Robinson's been awesome.
But by the way, Miami really, really well representing for all the white guys out there. Kelly Olynyk, Robinson, Hero.
Crowder's been great. Like,
is he white?
No, I'm just saying as far as role players go. But like those guys are stepping up. Like Jay Crowder has been, you know, hot and cold kind of throughout his career. He's playing some of his best basketball. Like the depth in name talent is probably the deepest with the Clippers. But you look at these guys stepping it up, you're like, the Heat are pretty deep too now.
One more thing about the Heat, and I had to look this up. Udonis Haslem is 106 years old. He's still on the team.
Yeah, I'm surprised when they had Udonis Haslem that they didn't just go ahead and sign Tim Thomas. Or, was it Kurt Thomas? Tim Thomas is old too, but I'm surprised they didn't have Kurt Thomas in there and just get like the twin towers of elderly.
Udonis Haslem, and I know he's not playing or getting PT. He's 41.
It's great.
41.
Good for Udonis Haslem.
You know what's so amazing about
That's how old I am.
I know. Can you imagine playing in the NBA?
No. I played golf yesterday. I'm sore.
You know what's so amazing about Udonis Haslem's stats, which makes his longevity in the NBA career even more impressive to me? Joe, he has never averaged, I'm looking at his stats right now, more than 12 points a game. He's been in the league.
That's not his role. No,
I know.
He's a vampire, and he's a rebounding and defensive vampire.
But even rebounds, like he's never averaged.
He's not sucking, like the blood for him isn't buckets. He's not sucking blood buckets. He's sucking blood rebounds. This guy's grabbing rebounds, and he will live forever.
But even that, he's never even averaged 10 rebounds in a season in his whole career. Yeah. I'm saying, like, Udonis Haslem, what I find so remarkable about him statistically is he has the most mediocre stats to just string along. He's been playing since 2002. Like it's impressive for him to still be in the league. And he's making a couple mil this year.
It's good living for a vampire.
Oh, it's great living. So let's move on to the Western Conference. We have the Lakers and Houston at 1-1, and a great game last night, which I caught the fourth quarter of the Nuggets Clippers. Hard fought series so far.
Yeah. Clippers came out, dominate game one. Charles Barkley, again, as he does, wrongly guarantees a sweep. It's over. They won't win a single game. The Nuggets have a lot of talent. The Nuggets have a great offensive personality. I really think the Nuggets, and I said this about them last year, but I'll say it again. They're the Braves of the NBA. They're young. They're talented. They're playing a little bit above their heads, but they're really good. But you see it last night. I mean, they win game two. They're in the game last night. They're up for a while last night. And then it just seemed like they lost their mojo down the stretch. Just seems like the moment got a little too big for them. The pressure got a little bit too big for them. And, they didn't have a strong offensive personality going down the stretch. And they had moments of brilliance, especially in the third quarter. Jokic hitting I think 3 3-pointers in a row. They were working that high pick and roll to perfection. And then they just get away from it. It's keep going to the well, because I know everybody's saying this Clippers team, oh, they're Clippers defense. It's Clippers defense. You have Pat Beverly back. Clippers ain't playing that great of defense. Everybody wants to suck the Clippers dicks defensively, and everybody wants to shit on my Mike D'Antoni defensively. I mean, the Rockets are running circles around the Clippers defensively in this playoffs. Running circles around them.
Well, the Clippers have just never played up to their potential this year. I know they've battled a lot of injuries.
At some point, you gotta ask what that potential really is.
Well, you guys talked about it last episode, you and Maddie. Doc Rivers, he's just not getting the most out of his players, and that's on the coach. So to me, that's the potential. You do have a lot of really good and quality players, quality role players. He's just not getting, in my opinion, the most, because to me on paper, they're by far the best team in the NBA.
But also on paper, they should be extremely problematic for the Nuggets.
I agree.
The Nuggets, softer offense, super offense. They're getting the majority of their scoring in the last series on one guy. They're running again. Why they got away from what was working is one thing, but the other question is the idea that a high pick and roll with Murray and Jokic is working like they're playing high school ball. Where is this Paul George, Kawhi, the stoppers? They get through every screen. They're lockdown wing defenders. Now, look, Murray hasn't played scoring wise at the level he played in the Utah series. And sure, that's a testament to the wing defenders in the backcourt for the Clippers. But I'm just talking about stopping the other team from scoring. They haven't been this defense wins championships team.
I know, but hold on. The most defining moment of last night's game at crunch time was a defensive stop by Kawhi, the block on Murray's shot that he's trying to dunk. That's
totally fine. And good for Kawhi Leonard. My point is this is a 1-1 series and has a tight game 3. And the idea that, the Clippers play this lockdown defense and now they've completely, made Murray ineffective and this series is over is just not the way. Yeah, that game came down to a tip of a finger Kawhi Leonard block. I'm just saying, where is this lockdown defense? They're certainly not the 90s Knicks.
By the way, Reggie Miller's boner
for happening with the middle finger.
And he just kept saying the middle finger, there was so much innuendo with the middle finger. And Reggie,
I imagine if the camera on him, he would have been like, the bird. It's like, we know Goose.
Who was he calling the game with last night? Was that Kevin Harlan?
Yeah, probably.
Whoever it was, he even made a kind of like a sarcastic comment because Reggie just kept He's like, I saw it, Reggie.
Yeah.
Like we saw it live.
Yeah.
Can we get another replay of that? His middle finger is just slightly grazing the ball. Fun game to watch. Obviously, that's going to be a fun series, 6 or 7 games. And I don't know. I just, in my head, I keep thinking the Clippers are going to put it together and play great team basketball and go on runs for multiple games in a row. We just haven't seen it yet.
I think that the Clippers win this series on talent alone. But again, like, and look, they could potentially win a Lakers series or a Rockets series on talent alone. But I think that when you look at the Clippers going forward, they are going to have to find a new gear to beat either team that comes out of the other series.
Yeah. So we're 1-1, Lakers and Rockets. Game 2, the Lakers had a big lead. Houston went on that amazing run in the third quarter, regained the lead after being down by 16 or 17, and then the Lakers closed it out at the end. What are our thoughts after 2 games in a tied series?
Well, I think that this is also going to be a good series. I think people have underestimated this Rockets team for a long time. I still, as I said last week, I still think the Rockets could solve a lot of their offensive problems by getting Russell Westbrook off the floor with Harden. I just think that you can effectively manage their minutes and manage the weird offensive lulls they go through by not having them play together. I just think I understand that Mike D'Antoni's been given, a piece of steak and a piece of salmon and been told to make a surf and turf dinner with no other ingredients. But serve one of your guests a full steak and serve one of your guests a full salmon. You don't need to fucking put these two on the plate together. Steak and salmon, it don't work. It don't go together. So I just think that the Rockets it's not going to happen. If there was a guy who would have the balls to do it, it'd be Mike D'Antoni, but I just don't think he's going to put his job on the line making a decision like that, nor is he going to fuck up his locker room, because I don't think Russ would take that very well. But I think that their offensive problems, that's what it comes down to. And when one of those guys gets cold, they're not – the Rockets can really get stagnant offensively, and if they're not hitting their threes.
Exactly. You live and die by the 3, right?
Yeah. That being said, I think that they're a dangerous team for this Lakers team, because a lot of what the Lakers do defensively is completely, canceled out by going small. Dwight Howard doesn't get minutes. JaVale McGee doesn't get minutes. You're not able to, stack the middle of your defense and get these big rebound guys getting the ball out to LeBron in transition. This small ball, longer rebounds, less happening in the paint. It is a nice diversion from what the Lakers like to do, but I still think when all comes down to it, the single best player in the series is head and shoulders above the rest is LeBron James, and he's on the Lakers. And honestly, probably the second best is Anthony Davis, because Harden is so spotty.
Yeah. I mean, Davis, with those guys, you got to be just dominating. Those guys are so small in the Rockets.
That's the question mark for the Lakers. If you're Anthony Davis, you got
to get 35-15 every night.
You should be doing more. I mean, the Rockets came back, and then LeBron James took the game over.
Sure.
And just kept going to the basket. And LeBron James pulled them away.
Yeah.
And it's great to have the best player that ever played the game on your team to be able to do that. But you're going to need to find a little bit more, especially going forward. You're going to need to have a little bit more of, okay, they don't have a big man. Our big man needs to dominate. And if you can't pull that off, I mean, look at going forward to a Clippers series. I said it before. Who on the Clippers guards Anthony Davis? I love a matchup problem of trotting out Zubats to guard Anthony Davis.
And then Harrell,
But if Anthony Davis isn't scoring on PJ Tucker,
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Anthony Davis needs to get, and I know it's a different game and it's not the same type of player, but he needs to become Shaq dominant. And again, it was different game, and Shaq was just. But Anthony Davis is that good offensively. He's that skilled. He needs to have the 40-point games all the time, like Shaq used to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the people.
You know what I've noticed about the bubble, which I.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What you were going to say.
I was going to say the people that are like, arguing like, oh, the Lakers are good again, or the Lakers are dominating because Anthony Davis is carrying LeBron. It's just like, it's a bad take. And if you look at it, Anthony Davis drifts outside and becomes a face the basket guy a lot of the time.
He does.
Shoots threes and is trying to take people off the dribble. And, just even the pick and roll game, like it's so much like when you watch Murray and Jokic running the pick and roll and it ends up with, Jokic shooting threes. Okay. That's an acceptable offense for Jokic when he's going against Zubac and when he's going against Montrez. But if you're Anthony Davis, you got to be dominating the PJ Tuckers on the block.
Yeah,
you have to be.
I want 4 to 5 dunks a game.
Yeah.
Easily. You know what I've liked about the bubble? I've noticed, and I know they have a barbershop there. Everyone's looking, the hair, it's looking all fresh on the players.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good braids. A lot of good cornrows. I like seeing that. I think that's a clean, smooth look. And I hope that they're keeping that look down below on their junk and using some Manscaped in the bubble, Joe.
Honestly, every time I see Anthony Davis, I'm like, yo, you need to get a little Manscaped trimmer to that unibrow. I mean, I know it's your look, but like, let's talk about a Manscaped sponsorship.
Uh-oh, I'm losing you, Joe.
I need that unibrow taken care of.
I think I lost you there for a minute. Are you there?
I'm there. I'm here. Are you there?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Something just said my internet connection was unstable. Okay, it's back. Yeah, guys, the NBA is in the bubble, and I know they're trying to look as fresh as possible. And I know Manscaped will help those guys, and it'll help you guys. Manscaped, one of our supporting sponsors of the show. I use the Lawnmower 3.0. Joe uses it. I brought it with me to Cincinnati to help clean my junk up down below. They have so many great products. They got the Shears 2.0, a luxury 4-piece nail kit, tempered stainless steel tools, and it includes the tip tweezers, the rounded point scissors, fingernail clippers, and a medium grit nail file. They have so many great products, guys. In fact, all listeners of our show get 20% off plus free shipping with the code DIRTY at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code DIRTY. It's time to grab 2020 by the horns by shaving that front junk. Prano, are you there?
I am. Shave that front junk, everybody.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I think we were having internet connection problems for a minute.
I think we're all good now.
Okay. All good. All right, Joe, let's talk a little NFL.
Sure.
We got some big news.
I mean, week 1 is 2 days from now.
Crazy, right?
It's crazy.
Well, Deshaun Watson go ahead.
It feels like when we talk COVID stuff and we talk how long we've been doing this since March, like, doesn't it feel like March was 25 years ago?
Oh my God. What's been crazy about this year is it feels like it's lasted 5 years, but it also feels
like how is football here again?
Yeah, I totally agree. So Deshaun Watson got a new contract, and he is going to be stuck with Bill O'Brien for a minute.
I'm not necessarily sure that that's true, but he's going to be stuck in Texas for a while.
Yeah. Good point.
I know that Bill O'Brien's made some decent moves in locking up Deshaun Watson, and while he is the second highest paid quarterback per season now, I believe, behind Mahomes, it's still a relatively good cheap deal for the Texans in how long it lasted and how much it had to be guaranteed and all that stuff. It's a decent deal for them, and that's great. You wanted to lock Deshaun Watson up, and but at the same time, they let Hopkins go. Bill O'Brien is suspect at best, and if they don't start winning games, I mean, if they don't appear in a deep playoff game again, I just don't know how you stick with Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
You gotta play in an AFC Championship game.
Yeah. You think that's what they need?
Look, I think that they need to fire Bill O'Brien 3 years ago. I think Bill O'Brien sucks. I think Bill O'Brien is a boob. I think Bill O'Brien has been successful solely on the talent that he has and not at all to do with his coaching. I think he's a bad football coach. I think he's been bad at every level. I think he embarrasses himself regularly on the football field. I think that they should have fired him forever ago. But like, you got to go back to, what does this guy achieve that he continues to like? What is the goal here? The goal is just to win the AFC South and not be great in the playoffs and get rid of all your good players and blow games on coaching alone. Bill O'Brien stinks.
Who wins that division? It's a very competitive division. Now you have Phillip Rivers in Indy. Obviously, Tennessee was a surprise last year, made it all the way to AFC Championship. Now they've added Clowney to that defense.
I honestly think, I mean, you got to talk always about health, but I think if the Titans are healthy, I think the Titans build on what they did last year and they win that division.
And obviously, we'll preview everything Thursday, which is the opening day for the NFL season. But I think that the Texans take a step back. I mean, you really can't estimate losing DeAndre Hopkins.
No.
And great for Deshaun Watson. He's great. He's a young star. He is so fun to watch. I thought he was going to be a bust. I was wrong. He's been absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'm glad he got that guaranteed money. Got a lot of guaranteed money, $111 million, I think. But yeah, you're stuck with the boob.
Yeah.
I mean, poor Deshaun Watson went from Dabo to the boob.
Yeah. At least Dabo wins.
True.
I mean, he is a fucking douche loser, but like, he wins football games.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. So I looked this up today. You're going to have one, two, three, four, five or six teams are going to allow fans. This is what I don't get about the NFL. Why don't they just come to some consensus for every team? So it doesn't make any sense to me, right? The Chiefs, Jags, Colts, Cowboys, Dolphins will all be allowed to have fans opening week, but no one else will.
Yeah.
Like, how is that fair? And it's such minimal amount of fans.
I don't understand. Look, you look at baseball and their negotiations for the season in terms of, and I know it's different, but I believe when that was all going on, they were talking about what percentage of the money comes from fans. And I believe the number in the NFL was 15%. Is that right?
I don't know the number, but I know the NFL of their total revenue
was the lowest.
Yeah, it's much lower than Major League Baseball.
I want to say it was 15% of their money comes from selling tickets, concessions, parking, the whole thing of the fan experience going to the game. If that's the case, it can't be like financially profitable to fill 6,000 seats or 15,000 seats.
That's my favorite. So the Browns and Bengals are going to be allowed 6,000 spectators. And here's the best part. It's not even for the opening week, at least not for the Bengals. So in October, they're going to do a test run. Again, this is all mandated by the governor and the health officials of the state. The Browns and Bengals will each be allowed as a test run. My response to that is this. What does 6,000 fans spread out in a 65,000 seat stadium do? What is the purpose of that?
It'll feel like the NBA bubble. That isn't that what 40 people in a small arena, in a small gym feels like?
Yeah, basically.
I mean, if the capacity of that gym is 500 people and they put 40 people in it, isn't that what 6,000 fans in a 60,000 seat stadium is? It just looks like the cleanup crew after a concert.
Well, exactly. Like, what are you going to make There's two things I'd ask.
I just think it can't be financially profitable.
What are you making financially?
To like have to have parking, to have whatever, because it's like you can't just open. I mean, I know you can open only X amount of concession stand and only X amount of the parking spots and whatever, but you still have to have like security everywhere. You got to have security on every ramp and everything, just in case one of these fans tries to go in the locker room or whatever. Like, you still got to, there's some aspect of your like logistics that you still have to max out, but you're only getting 10% of your fans in there. I just can't imagine it's profitable. And then the question is, so why are you doing it? You're not doing it for, it's not going to help crowd noise. It's not going to give you any sort of home field advantage. Is it just to like cater to the 6,000 people in Cleveland who are like, we shouldn't be shutting shit down?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. And if you're one of those 6,000 people who is going to go to a Bengals game, well,
yeah,
reevaluate your life.
Can you imagine we've been in like semi-quarantined since March, and you're like, I got to go to a Bengals game.
Justin Wood.
I was going to say somewhere Justin Wood is wearing tiger skin Air Jordans and a tiger tail, and his girlfriend's painting whiskers on his face in preparation for week 1.
Yeah. I don't get it. I was actually talking with a buddy about that this weekend. We were laughing saying, I want to know those 6,000 people who are dying to see a Bengals Browns home game in October. I got to see Burrow in person. And how are they going to, I assume obviously the fans will be spread out.
Yeah. I almost think that the NFL, I mean, not that the NFL's ever been smart when it comes to like societal issues, but like what a great way to like promote the get the Sunday ticket, stay at home, like think about the bigger cause, like do an ad campaign that shows the streets of major cities empty on Sunday, that shows the seats empty on Sunday, that shows the bars empty on Sunday, and at the end cuts to everybody in their homes watching Sunday Ticket, and just be like, the NFL, we own Sundays, and Sundays we stay home, or something like that.
That's actually a great idea.
But the NFL instead's like, 6,000 anti-maskers can come to the Bengals game.
Yeah, you would think that'd be a great marketing push for the Sunday Ticket. 100%. Because who cares about a socially like I know for me that experience, right? One of the best things about going to these games is the camaraderie with your fellow fans. When you take that out of it and you take the tailgating out of it, and we've talked about this with college football, when you take the whole experience, because when you go to sports, you don't just go for the game when it's football.
Yeah.
You go for the whole experience. You go to tailgate with the Shabellis at the Rams game. I mean, all that stuff makes football such an enjoyable sport. You take that out of it, I'll just watch. I
gotta wonder which of the 6 teams that are allowing fans Joe Shabelli is going to become a fan of this year. He's like, fuck the Rams closing their stadium. I'm a Colts fan going to these games.
Oh man, poor Shabelli. You think he listens to the show?
I think so, because every once in a while I mock him and then I get a direct message.
Good kid though. He's a good kid.
He's a good kid.
I see. I try not to pay attention, and especially now after everything with my dad, like I can't even all this stuff. I like can't even get involved because people are just they're so opinionated. What's crazy for me is that businesses still have to you have to wear a mask when it's a state law, right?
I have no idea.
Well, I'm just saying, I've noticed that in California. I noticed that in Ohio. Every business still has to put that because even though people know it's a law, they still don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's just the whole thing is so ridiculous. But I will not be going to a Bengals game. Just I know you were probably wondering that if I was going to go to
I was wondering.
An October Cincinnati Bengals game. I don't think
Are you still returning to Los Angeles at some point?
Oh, what a mess.
Will we have Andy Ruther? Will we have like a goodbye episode? Will we have?
Yeah, we'll have to.
Smut Studio.
So what I'm hoping is
it's so hard to say goodbye.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to tell you off air, but I might as well just tell you on air. What I'm hoping is once Walt gets out of the COVID ward and we can maybe see him, then I'll come back to LA, basically grab my shit, stay for a couple days, and then get back to Cincinnati. But I hadn't even scheduled the movers. Now I was scheduled to move September 23rd. And obviously everything that's happened with my dad has changed everything. But there could be a chance that I come later and I pay for a full month's rent. It's just it's kind of, I'm taking
it's a shit show.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know, but basically, yeah, I'm going to have to come back, Joe.
Yeah.
I know you were a good friend and offered to get everything arranged, but I gotta.
You were talking about putting all your shit in a pod. I was like, well, you don't need to come back to put your shit in a pod. We can find some manpower for that.
Yeah, no, thanks. But I'm gonna have to come back and assemble all my stuff briefly. And it's what's crazy. I left Cincinnati July 31st, went to St. Louis for a few days, and headed to LA. I had to take that emergency flight back August 31st. I was gone from Cincinnati for exactly 30 days. It feels like I didn't even leave.
Yeah.
Like I almost feel like I'm in a dream. Like never in my life have I 30 days like they didn't even happen.
Yeah.
Was I ever really back?
It's a great question. You're asking the wrong guy. I don't know. It seemed like you were there, but it's hard to say for sure.
What is reality, Joe?
Yeah. I love that you're asking this in front of like a grandfather clock and like a bunch of pictures. Like you're in Doc Brown's fucking laboratory. What is reality?
It got really. Are you hearing when our internet connection is getting bad?
I just see you stop and talking.
Yeah, that's what just happened there. That was almost surreal because when you said what is reality, it got really slow. You're there, right?
I am here.
Okay. Well, Joe, I am happy that the NFL season is around, and I am happy to be participating in FanDuel this year. Dirty Sports is proud to be presented by FanDuel Fantasy. Guys, sports are back. The NFL is back. Football is right around the corner. It's the perfect time for some fantasy football. And if you've never played FanDuel Fantasy before, now is the time. They're offering users the chance to play for free this NFL season. No deposit required. Just sign up and FanDuel will give you a free entry to a contest each week of the football season where you can win real prizes. Joe, listen to this offer, even better. For anybody who wants to deposit, FanDuel is offering up to a $500 bonus instantly when you make your first deposit with our 20% deposit match. How great is that?
That is fantastic. It's FanDuel-tastic.
I know you like to wager on games, Joe. You like to look at the point spreads. We both do. You like to dabble in a little fantasy. There's really not an easier app for the Dirtballs to use during this upcoming NFL season than FanDuel.
I agree. I can't wait to get going. I mean, we've been talking about, we're not going to be able to go to games. Just add a layer on to what you usually do at home. Get involved in some FanDuel action.
That's right, guys. FanDuel is offering users the chance to play free this NFL season. Like I just said, no deposit required. Just sign up and FanDuel will give you a free entry to a contest each week of the NFL season where you can win real prizes.
Who doesn't like free things?
I know. And for anyone who wants to deposit, FanDuel is offering up to $500 bonus instantly when you make your deposit with our 20% deposit match. All you need to do, listen up, Dirtballs, write this down, make it happen. Go to FanDuel.com/dirty or download the FanDuel Fantasy app to play now. FanDuel, more ways to win. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/dirty. Speaking of dirty, I don't want to go too far into it, but because it's such a sensational, ridiculous story, but he's been the number one trend on Twitter now for 3 hours.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let's going to use in quotes because she does not look like a model and she's not a model. The Instagram girl who claims that Odell Beckham wanted her to defecate on his chest.
Oh, I did not see this.
You didn't see this?
No. I mean, I'm in St. Louis. We did a 10 a.m. start here. I basically got up, got coffee, checked the rundown briefly, and I saw something about Odell Beckham on Instagram, but the headline did not say anything about the Cleveland Steamers.
Well, and then obviously then that started trending. This is so funny to me.
Cleveland Steamer started trending?
Yeah, everybody's making Cleveland Steamer jokes.
Okay. glad I'm original.
He was at least before the show, he was the number one trend in the whole country. It was just Odell. So
just read it because I need the specifics. I mean, I need word for word from whatever the report is. Where was this reported?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the same show.
No, it's not. It's not the same guy.
It's not the same guy. It's not the same guy with the Phoenix Suns girl, but it looked like the same setting, and I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong.
If it is, now I'm just like, okay, so every week you guys are going to make up some ridiculous story about some athlete.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to. This is suspect to me. The woman, I don't even find her attractive. I'll be honest. And she claims, I don't know how to play the audio clips with us being on Zoom, but she basically claims that there was DM exchange. Odell told her not to shower for 24 hours before they met. Okay. As if he's into some, dirty stuff. And then when they hooked up, he asked her to defecate on his chest. And
it does look like, I'm looking at the thing. It does look like.
Am I wrong on that? Yeah, right in that?
It's the same set that happened.
With the fence?
Yeah. What is this stupid show? And can we stop pretending that it's a real thing? Like,
that's what I want to say. I don't think I think more people need to be like us. This is, I'm calling bullshit.
They do this at some loading dock. They're in they're in a medium security prison for like Instagram hosts. Like when people get put in Instagram jail, they get sent to this medium security prison that's got they always say like, oh, white collar crimes. It's like a country club. Well, apparently white collar crimes, if you're a thought, means that your jail has a podcast studio. And now we just have Instagram. Every week we're going to have an Instagram hooker story where they go into this jail cell and they're like, you cannot leave this fenced in area until you make up the most ridiculous story you can come up with. And she's like, I had sex with 10 of the Cleveland Browns. And it's like, we already did the gangbang story. One of them tried to shit on me. Okay, now we're talking. Was it Baker Mayfield? No, it was the guy with the hair. Odell? Yeah, Odell tried to shit on me. You're like, come on. Is this a Mad Libs is this Instagram thought Mad Libs?
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I 100% agree. And actually, I feel bad for Odell.
Yeah.
Because this is what I don't like. She says this, like we're saying, in this minimum security prison looking set. And she says this, Prano, and this is why I feel bad for the guy. It's the number one trend with everything going on, politics, COVID, you name it. The number one trend for hours this morning was just Odell because of this. Yeah. And I'm not buying it.
Not from this, not if it's happening at this prison. This is some Oz for thoughts. Instagram thought Oz.
I love how you keep calling it thoughts.
Yeah. It's like they're just going there and they're like, you're here for your sentence is 12 years unless you come up with a ridiculous story about an athlete.
And I'll just, like I said, like
Dwight Howard gets like to have super soakers filled with piss shot in his mouth. Like, not too believable. Odell Beckham. I swear it's like, okay, so we're going to need a professional athlete. Odell Beckham Jr. Okay. Odell Beckham Jr. likes it when we're going to need a disgusting phrase. Poops. Okay. Poops. This is Mad Libs.
Mad Libs for tots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine him at practice today. He's like, I got to deal with this. Like every trend and all these jokes and everybody's picking it up.
Yeah. And also people making the Cleveland Steamers joke. The Cleveland Browns is just sitting there as well. Like it really does feel like Mad Libs.
I think we need to take power away from these Instagram tots. I'm serious.
I still think it's thoughts, Andy.
Oh, you can't. I've lost track. It is thoughts.
I'm pretty sure it's thoughts.
So I have this is where by the way, my brain is fried. I just mentally. So basically, I used to pronounce it as tots, then knew it was thoughts. Now I'm so confused. I'm thinking it's tots again.
Yeah, tater tots, Instagram thoughts.
Okay. So anyway, these Instagram thoughts. Thank you for correcting me.
Or whatever. I mean, who cares? I'd believe a tater tot at this point over these chicks. They're in a fucking jail cell. Why are they in why are they in the practice facility for WWE's Rage in the Cage? Why does this happen? Why does this happen at a dog pound?
And it's excruciating to even watch the other Instagram thoughts who are interviewing.
Why is this happening inside Joe Exotic Zoo? Like, why is that where they're shooting this?
You know, we're going to need a couple new sets for Dirty Sports as we do this show.
Where should we host our podcast? Oh, I don't know. How about the evidence locker of a local police station? Seems like a great place. Seems like a good spot for me.
It's still better than Doc Brown's TV room.
Yeah.
It's still better than my current setup. But we need to take the power away from these women.
Where should we host our podcast? How about the temporarily fenced in area of a construction site where we keep all the precious metals? Yeah, seems like a good place. Seems like a good spot for our podcast.
And look, I don't want to keep dissing this girl, but
I don't want to keep dissing her either, but she's doing her podcast from a chicken coop.
No, I'm talking about the girl. I don't find her that attractive. She's got trashy tattoos.
She's in jail, Andy.
She doesn't have that good of a body. I'm just saying, like, Prano, this is what we've come to. You got me sticking up for Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, you should be. This is sacrilegious. This is criminal libel.
I mean, these women
they should call Adam Tremble's lawyer. Get him on their libel case.
Oh, it took me a minute. That took me a minute. That's really good.
Oh, Trembly.
A little deep cut there.
Ooh, trembling.
I think Odell should respond to this one. This one's so ridiculous. He should just respond.
Yeah.
Like, I did not ask you to shit on my chest.
It's so dumb. I mean, I honestly couldn't believe when you said it. I was like, oh, this is a thing now that girls are just going to do this. It's the same show. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
It is. Minus the guys saying, what about the nuts?
Yeah.
Are you watching any baseball?
Yeah. Why? What do the numbers say?
I don't know.
Do the numbers say no one's watching baseball?
I'm curious. I was watching until the last week, just because of, my week's been crazy, but I feel like no one's talking about baseball.
Well, I mean, look, it's a tough go for baseball right now. I was just thinking about it yesterday. I was thinking we are going to be in the thick of conference finals, NBA play, NHL, whatever. I don't know where the NHL's at. Is there a Stanley Cup winner?
The Eastern and Western Conference finals are currently happening.
It's fine. I don't really care. We're going to be in the thick of conference finals basketball when we're at week 2, week 3, week 4 of the NFL. How can baseball compete with that?
They can't.
Until they find a way for Jacob deGrom to pitch daily, baseball is going to have a tough go of it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
And I'm a baseball guy. I'm a baseball guy, but I ain't watching. I won't even check in on baseball on Sunday or Monday.
Yeah. What a mess. Did you see this? That's our baseball talk. See that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Look, I could go deep and tell you some great things that are happening in baseball, but at the same time, like, I agree with you that baseball had an opportunity and they blew it. Baseball should have used The Last Dance as a fucking lead-in. They should have had opening night of baseball happen ESPN Sunday Night Baseball right after The Last Dance. They blew it.
Yeah. So it's like my football coach told me varsity year when I missed an interception in garbage time. And the guy took the ball away from me, knocked me to the ground, and walked into the end zone. He said, Ruther, you had your chance and you blew it. Which my family loves that. Baseball, you had your chance and you blew it. Yeah, coach said that to my face.
We need a meme of that. We need a meme of you on the ground in your oversized football pads, and it just says MLB over you. A receiver catching a ball, his says football, and your football saying Ruther's chance.
Oh yeah, that's been a Ruther family favorite. Me going to the sideline and the coach going, Ruther, you had your chance and you blew it. Okay, thanks, coach. I'm gonna go play in traffic now and go back to sitting on the bench. I want to talk about this. Is it how do you pronounce his name? The tennis player.
Novak Djokovic.
Novak Djokovic. This was pretty wild.
Yeah. He neck shotted somebody. He went full Liam Neeson. He John Wicked somebody with a tennis ball.
So he's the number one.
Some Bond shit.
He's
like
the
when
number
he
one
chops
player.
Somebody in the neck.
He's the number one player in the world. He was disqualified from the U.S. Open in your neck of the woods, in New York, Queens,
right across the street from Citi Field.
Yeah. Now, obviously, he deserved the disqualification. It wasn't voluntary, but he hit a line judge, like you were saying, in the throat. But I have watched this so many times. I think it's an overreaction by her.
You know what? I do too, but maybe he's a dick. And she was like, fuck this dude. I'm going to sell it.
But like, she was grabbing her throat. She was like, I've rewatched it so many times. I'm like, how hard did he hit the tennis ball? Did it warrant that reaction?
Well, here's the thing. And I wonder too, if it had hit, on the side and grazed off, and she isn't choking, does he still get disqualified? Or did it become a thing because she went down so long, and then they go, oh, there is a thing that you can't hit a line judge and whatever. Like, I mean, I think this is, I think, did she oversell? It seems like she oversold it, but like, you've been hit in the throat.
It doesn't feel good.
If you get hit dead on, like, there is this clinching reaction where like you can't breathe. And so if she couldn't breathe, maybe she's not overreacting. I don't know. Maybe he's a dick and she wanted to sell it. The fact remains, it kind of sucks for a number of reasons. One, that because of COVID, the other two greatest of all time in Nadal and Federer aren't even playing. That's the big three in tennis. I mean, they're the big three forever. Like, I'm not a big tennis guy, but like, if you look at all of the major titles won, Grand Slams, all blah, 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 like we're talking about LeBron and Michael and Kareem, and LeBron and Michael are sitting out and Kareem's playing, and now Kareem's been thrown out of the tournament. So it's kind of wide open now, but you really, all your star. I was talking to Tug about it last week. I said, do you want to do any US Open talk? And he said, Nadal and Federer are out. Djokovic is even money to win this thing. It's not really that exciting. Now, obviously, it's becoming exciting that he is out.
Yeah.
But it's also pretty controversial in how it happened.
That's one of the most bizarre things you'll ever see in sports.
Yeah. But also, like, why the fuck are you doing it? Because you lost the set or lost the game.
I mean, he's upset. He's just hitting the ball away.
Yeah, usually they hit it into the fucking crowd. The entire stadium's open. You hit it right at somebody.
Hit it out the stadium, bro.
Yeah, hit somebody in the neck. You got a fucking tennis ball in your neck.
Yeah, I felt, and you're right, and I understand that
this poor lady laying on the court at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Novak Djokovic over her. You got a fucking tennis ball in your neck.
Poor Karen, just gasping for air.
Have some water. You've got a tennis ball in your fucking neck.
Yeah, the whole thing was weird because then they meet and then they kick him out, and it's an empty stadium, so it's just dead silence. I mean, that's one of the weirder things I've seen in sports, though.
Yeah,
that's up there.
Yeah. Oh, we got to do, just because he's such a shithead generally, we got to shout out one of the shittiest shitheads of all time. I think I've got it in here somewhere. Did you see this? Mark Berman from the New York Post, all around terrible sports writer guy.
I'm not as familiar with him, to be honest.
Novak Djokovic's excessive punishment is terrible for US Open. That's what he writes there, as you can see that. Same author, shit dick.
Oh, I saw this.
Serena acted like a sore loser. Like, Mark Berman, fucking stay out of it, you dumb shit. He's always been such a fucking C word.
Cunt?
Yeah, that's the one I was going for. I don't know what we're allowed to say anymore. Canceled.
We did 20 minutes on Odell Beckham possibly shitting on him.
Well, we defended him. So.
Yeah. I love how you're like, Cleveland Steamers. And I'm like, everyone's making that joke.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you
But you're right. You're right. The Browns as an organization are the Cleveland Steamer.
Yeah.
I saw ESPN did real quick, and then we'll wrap up the show. They did like 20,000 simulations, which I love these simulations that never pan out. Regular season, playoffs for NFL. They had Cowboys, Chiefs Super Bowl, and the Chiefs like rolling over the Cowboys.
Isn't that your Super Bowl prediction from last year? Or were you Cowboys Patriots?
Oh, it was Cowboys Patriots. Oh, what a bad fucking pick. We'll do a preview on Thursday.
I know everybody's bonering out over the Cowboys these days, but all I'm going to say is Mike McCarthy.
Well, and I also agree. We've said this on the show.
Let me ask you something right now, Andy. Everybody was shitting on LaFleur last year. Everybody on the Aaron Rodgers is a choker. Everybody on. Do the Cowboys have even, not better than, the Cowboys even have as good a record as year one Rodgers LaFleur? Which I believe was 13-3.
No, they won't.
No, they won't.
And I think I was going to say before you said that, I stand by this, and I'm not a fan of his, as dirtballs know who go way back. I don't think there's that much of a drop-off from Dak Prescott if he got injured to Andy Dalton.
So that's good for the Cowboys.
Yeah, no, it is. But my point is, I don't like. It's also interesting. That's where I kind of value, and I like Dak. But my point is, there's definitely a drop-off. I don't think there's that big of one when you have the talent that they have.
Well, you also got, again, this is the NFL, the NFL payroll game. There's certainly not a 95% drop off, right? And one guy's getting $3 million and the other guy's asking for 30 plus a year.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I know Dak, I know the whole thing is every quarterback who signs a deal is going to sign the next biggest deal, but the market has been set. Deshaun Watson didn't get more money than Patrick Mahomes.
But
Patrick
he is the second highest paid guy now.
Right. Does anybody think that Dak Prescott deserves to earn more money than Deshaun Watson?
I would hope not.
I would hope not too, including Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not even close. You call the Cowboys up right now and you say, we'll trade you Deshaun Watson for Dak Prescott. They're like, they go, we'll take it. No backseas, and they'll hang up on you.
Yeah.
And Bill O'Brien just might do that because he's a fucking boob.
Sure. Well, we'll break it all down on Thursday. We'll do a full NFL 2020 preview. I can't believe it's here.
I know. It's crazy. It's happening.
You'll be back in Los Angeles?
I will be. Yeah. We might have to do a little bit later on Thursday for all you dirtballs who like to tune in live. I have a physical therapy appointment Thursday morning, but we'll make it happen.
Cool. All right. Well, that's the show. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at The Dirty Sports. You can follow me at Andy Ruther. And again, thanks everybody for all the very kind messages. Much love and much appreciation to you guys.
We're thinking about you, Andy. We're hoping for the best. We're hoping for Walt to come out the other side just as angry and you know, prickly as ever. We want Walt back in the house. We hope we haven't seen the last video of Walt standing at the end of the driveway, staring out into nothingness. We're all looking forward for the return of Walt.
Appreciate that, and I am too.
Yeah.
Anything else from your end, Joe?
No. We'll be back in LA on Thursday, and we'll keep this dirty sports train rolling. We'll keep watching these NBA playoffs. We'll keep watching. We'll start watching the NFL on Thursday. We're about to hit, you know, for all the times we went through of down sports times where we're talking about Black Lives Matter and COVID and the Michael Jordan propaganda films. We're about to have Eastern and Western Conference basketball, opening weeks of the NFL, last days of baseball. It's about to get real exciting.
Yeah. We're going to have a full plate of sports. That's for sure. All right, guys. Thank you for the support. Thank you for listening to the show. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.